what I want to show you is how to wedge clay properly. Three things I want to address is going to be aligning the particles of the clay, ridding the clay of air bubbles, and blending and making sure all of the clay is the same wetness. Now what you don't want to do starting out as a beginner is simply get your bag of clay, take your wire tool, cut off a piece of clay, and simply just start balling it up and slapping it on the wheel and expect to throw the perfect pop. In this case, I'm using recycled clay. All right, so I'm not really sure of the wetness throughout the whole piece of clay here. I'm also not sure how long it's been setting out. So what I want to do is make sure that I'm ridding it of its air bubbles, and I'm going to be aligning the particles in the wedging process here. Some people might refer to this as kneading the clay. All right, so the first thing to do is to get both hands on both sides of the clay. You want to do this press and rotate, press and rotate, press and rotate. So what you're doing in pressing and rotating the clay is you're forcing any air that's trapped in there out. This technique is sometimes referred to the ram's head, and it gets its name from the spiraling here on the sides of the horn and the front snout. All right. So in these quick, small little rotations, I'm pressing and rotating. Making sure that I'm not over-rotating. That's something to point out. If you're to over-rotate the clay, then what you're simply doing is creating these voids for air to get trapped. What you're doing there is you're actually creating the problem. You're actually creating air bubbles. So you want to do these short little spurts. Rotate, press, press, rotate. But paying attention not to over-rotate. So in the last rotation there, you want to pull your clay up, and for demo purposes, let me just show you. You can take a wire tool, cut it in the middle there. As you can see, there's no air bubbles, so we've wedged the clay properly. If there was some air bubbles there, then what we simply do is slap the two halves back together and repeat the process. Now, as you noticed, the bottom of the clay here has this spirally effect. We don't want to simply take that and just slap that onto our wheel, because we will be trapping air there. So what we want to do before we go to the wheel, simply tap it down, give it a few rotations, smooth out that bottom, and now we have the proper wedge piece of clay to throw our pot. And that's what I'll be showing you next.